Stepmother allows daughter to use stepdaughter iPad and doesn't understand why she is upset. I am not the OOP. The OOP is you, temperature United 919. The update was posted a day ago and seems to be concluded. Original. Update. Original. AITA for allowing my daughter on an iPad. I haven't ever used Reddit, but I've seen people get honest feedback, so here I am. So, I, 38F, have 2 daughters and 1 stepdaughter to my husband, 42M. My stepdaughter, 16F, is the artsy type. She owns a lot of paints, pencils etc. to draw. And this summer she was accepted into an art course held by one of the biggest art colleges. They allow people who are in the second last year of high school to do college courses part-time during school. But this course was during summer, so every Tuesday she's out of the house for 6 hours. The other day my youngest daughter, 12F, wanted to use my stepdaughter's iPad to play on. My husband was out, so I didn't see why not and keep it a small secret. So she played in it for a while until my stepdaughter arrived home. As soon as she got to her room she began to scream at my daughter. When I came up she continued to yell at me. She was complaining about how there's now chew marks on the Apple Pencil, which we can easily just get a cover for, and that she drew over one of her pieces on the iPad and saved it so she can't delete the layer. Apparently it was on a layer that has a lot of the detail work. And began to cry because she had some sort of online art competition that she now didn't have time to remake another piece for, since the deadline was at 6 p.m. that night. She didn't stop screaming at me until my husband arrived home. She ran to him telling him everything while continuing to yell. And I just told him that my daughter wanted to use the iPad and that she can fix whatever was done. My husband on the other hand took his daughter's side, saying that her room isn't an open invitation for my daughter's interests and that the iPad belonged to his daughter, so I shouldn't have told my daughter that it was alright to use. I honestly think it's a little stupid, as there are plenty of other competitions she can join in and that she can just redraw whatever it was, but apparently that's not the case for my husband, his stepdaughter. Now my stepdaughter refuses to stay in the same room as me, and my husband isn't saying more than morning or good night to me. AITA? Update. Update. AITA for allowing my daughter to use an iPad? Hello. I've decided to come back to Reddit after deleting the app. Reasons. Okay, so I replaced the Apple Pencil, but had gotten the wrong one. Gen 2 wasn't compatible with her device. So instead of returning it, I just took her out with me to buy a completely new iPad. Despite this, she's still keeping her old one. Her choice. I apologized to her and my husband for the way I was treating his daughter as well. As for my bio daughter, I did discipline her. I did not allow her near any electronics, except the TV. And when she asked about my SD old iPad, I told her to ask her, which her response was a no. And instead of trying to take something which isn't mine, I told her to respect her decisions. On my own reflection, I admit I was out of line to do what I did, and admittedly wanted any reason to believe I was in the right, which I 100% was not. And it was childish of me to try and find ways to not be the bad guy. Now me and my SD have no bad blood between us, and even started to get closer, which I love. As for bio daughter, again as a somewhat punishment, after her grounding was finished and started whining about the iPad, I instead just got her an iPod, already used. I have to admit, replies to my post was the exact reality check I needed. Thank you. Have a good day everyone. Editor's note. The update makes me feel like this story is made up. The stepmom bad troll. What's your opinion? Both posts come from the same account, but the tone is widely different. The update is a bit odd in both tone, manner, Seems like a diff person. Why do these two posts have wildly different voices, spellings, grammar, etc.? ETA. Just to be clear, while I don't believe it's impossible they're the same people, a person's writing voice is legitimately difficult to change. I'm a non-professional author, and changing your voice is actually a whole exercise that my writing club uses to try to stretch the skills of its members. It's really hard. When you find a style, changing the voice consciously is a real challenge. Which is why novels like The Curious Case of the Dog in the Nighttime are so impressive as works of technical achievement. The author is managing to substantially and consistently write in a very different voice to his normal one. And that's extremely hard to do for an entire novel. For an example, see the fact that any time a professional author tries to write under a pseudonym, their work is often almost immediately identified and anonymized because they couldn't help but keep the same voice. So, for that reason, I'm side-eyeing that update a little. It's just too different for me to feel comfortable calling them probably the same person's writing. It took me a minute to realize the bio kid was 12. That's pretty old to be scribbling on other people's drawings. Agreed, this feels like a troll to me. What? She allowed her daughter to take the iPad and then disciplined her for taking it? Also, the relationship is closer now that she bought her SD an iPad? This is lacking so much empathy, and it worries me that people like this exist. I agree with OpsEdit that this is a troll, but I'm so bothered it went from iPad to iPad loudly crying. Yeah, sounds like total BS from a 13-year-old TBH. Anytime any post has, "It will be our little secret," you know that's off to a terrible start and a terrible end. If you aren't the asshole, you wouldn't have this secret. Also, the way she flat out dismisses the stepdaughter artwork. Clearly not proud of her. After listing this fancy school she got into. It's not the update that seems fishy. It's OOP's reaction to SD's worrying about her competition and her destroyed work. Who says there are plenty of other competitions she can participate in after they find out they are partially responsible for ruining someone's work? Even if you don't admit it to the wrong party, at least in the secret post on Reddit you'd realize you screwed up and maybe say it was an honest mistake and you didn't realize the iPad was so crucial to her artwork. Now that 12-year-old is very dumb, very malicious, or very entitled, spoiled. Because at 12 you very well know to not touch anything that's not the game you're supposed to play. And if she knew to save the work, she knew enough. As a digital artist who has cranked out pieces drawing from sunup to sundown in a matter of days, and who otherwise spends weeks on a piece, the thought of all that work, all those hours, being ruined has me absolutely horrified. Especially if it was for a contest. I don't think I would ever forgive either the stepmom or sister TBH. Why would she buy her SD a brand new iPad plus new iPad pencil and then get her daughter a second-hand iPod? I didn't even know you can still buy iPods. The update sounds like OOP's daughter wrote it. The one that's 12. The whole story is strange. First, the iPad would be locked with a passcode. SD gave everyone the passcode to her iPad that stored her important artwork. Also, Apple Pencils aren't indestructible obviously, but to leave bite marks, you'd nearly crack your teeth or hurt your jaw. I doubted the story even before the update. There were lots of posts like this. Maybe another karma post-evil stepmom theme is trending again. This reads like either a troll post or an op who hated the feedback and decided to pretend they accepted their judgment, with minimal effort, spelling and so on. She wanted to keep it a small secret, so she knew what her stepdaughter and most likely husband would have said about it and still allowed her daughter to use it. If she had enough money to completely replace the iPad, she could have just gotten her daughter a new one so that she didn't have to touch her stepdaughter's. 1. Woman facepalming medium skin tone. So, Op gave her daughter SD's iPad to her as a small secret, i.e. she knew it was wrong, and then punished her for it? I say iPad, you say iPad. Why would a digital artist be going to an advanced art class without her main tool? I don't know why it reminded me of the mother who sold her daughter's iPad. The iPad that her daughter had bought with her money.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.